Naomi, season 2, issue 1. Brian Michael Bendis writing and David F. Walker as well writing, with Jamal Campbell on the art. So we've been quite down on Bendis stuff recently and dropped most of what he's done, but we did like Naomi season 1, so there was some optimism coming in that this would be a return to form, and maybe the fact that he's got a co-writer is something to latch on to look forward to. And obviously it does take place after the events that have kind of happened with her in other books. I felt like I wasn't missing anything though. I feel like the way it starts off is like, oh, she's been off an adventure, she's fought Black Adam, whatever. That's fine.
She summed up everything in therapy, and I feel like that was therapy for me. Because had Bendis just not, if he wasn't writing Justice League and this was just season 2, and he was intimating things that had happened, I think I would enjoy this a lot more, because it's coming off as a kid that has no one else to tell this to but their therapist, and the therapist isn't judging, so of course they're not going to be like, oh no, you didn't go with Black Adam. They're like, okay, so tell me how that made you feel, fighting Black Adam. And I guess this is the Bendis that I like.
Yeah, it does start off as well as all the different teenagers giving their opinion on what's going on with Naomi.
Yep.
So it feels very linked to how the first season started, and the art's very good by Campbell. It is beautiful throughout, and it sets up that she's having a bit of a rough time with her parents. Like, they're having really awkward times at home. Her father, in particular, has a really awkward relationship with her right now. He's been hypercritical, hyper worried about everything she's doing, about how she's going to use her powers, the idea that she might hurt someone with her powers, so she has to train better. And she's agreeing as much as she can, but no matter what she says, it's not the right thing. He's still finding a way to sort of snipe back and say, oh, this isn't right though, and this is, no, you need to be careful with this, and so on and so on. So that's the big thing that it kind of sets up, of course, is that conflict. She's got this friendship going with Dee the mechanic, who's the Thanagarian.
Yep.
And she's going to him to confide in as well. He's like, yeah, we'll train, we'll do stuff. And he's meant to come over and hang out with her and her parents for dinner that night, and he doesn't show up. So Naomi, towards the end of the issue, decides to go off and check what's going on, and she checks out his mechanic's shop and goes in, finds evidence of a struggle. There's a hole in the ground in the sort of basement area, and then her dad shows up wearing like sunglasses and a balaclava and is like, what are you doing here, young lady? You're a breaker entering now, which is exactly what he's doing.
Right.
So the issue ends with her saying, what did you do, as if she's assuming that he's behind whatever's happened to Dee. In reality, I feel like he was just also doing what she was, which is checking out and figuring out why he didn't show up.
See where he went. Yeah, because don't forget, he's Rainian.
Yeah.
So they go back to their antenna. There's issues going on between him and Mom because they're not talking. So I'm wondering what's going on there. This first issue of season 2, it didn't have that same feeling as season 1, to where I was instantly satisfied with certain things. It's still very good though, right? Like, the voices of each of the characters are spot on. Like, her friend being like, oh no, man, I wish my parents didn't talk. They're way too lovey-dovey. You know what it's like having to watch your parents make out? Like, I liked all of that. That, again, that was a kind of Bendis banter that I feel has been missing from the Bendis books that I had been reading.
It's that
true.
It's that interpersonal stuff. It's like her talking to her friends and just dealing with the fact that everyone knows she's this like superhero with like powers now, and how people are treating her differently. And a lot of it's through the perspective of this therapy session, and then her with her friend who's sort of like there to witness the awkward family dinner. It's a solid start. I like that the stakes feel relatively small. It's like one person's went missing. Why is he went missing? And there's conflict with her parents. I like that it feels quite pared down, because even though she has these big powers and she has a super villain who's from another dimension because that's where she comes from, and she says she wants to go and fight him. I like season 1 because even though the backstory feels really big, I like how small in scope the story actually is in present day. And I hope season 2 kind of sticks to that. I think it's to its benefit.
Me too.
That said, though, there is that moment where she's imagining being in the other dimension. You know, when her friend's like talking to her and she has to snap out of it. There's that gorgeous 2-page spread of like the big skull off in the distance with the fire coming out of its eyes, and she's just falling through the sky kind of thing. It's really pretty, really nice. I could certainly do with more Jamal Campbell art in my life.
Yep. And it reminded me too, I need to go back. I need to track down those issues of Lost Sector, right? Yeah.
Far Sector.
Far Sector, and finish that, because I was enjoying that. It was just a lot to be taking in with all the delays.
Yeah, the delays just were killing it for me. Yeah.
But it did remind me. I was like, oh yeah, man, the Campbell art in that was so good. I owe it to go back and finish it.
Obviously, a lot of it's the expressions and the shading and the art and the actual like physical art. But I want to point out the coloring as well. It's like towards the end when Naomi goes to check out the mechanic shop, like everything's this cold blues of nighttime, but she's this bright yellow, and the glow of her light is like hitting the world around her. It just looks really good. Like it just you feel the impact of her presence at all times. So it's really good. So yeah, very expressive. I think this is a solid first issue. I was kind of worried before I started this that I was going to read this and go, oh no, I'm just off Bendis now. Like I'm just like, he's not writing anything good.
I did too. I saved this for last, just because I was like, I kept putting it off, and I picked it up physically. So I was like, don't waste your money here. It's taking up space. And when it was good, I was relieved. Like, it was a nice, solid little read. I want to know what's going on with D. And I'm glad that Naomi actually gets to be the focus of her own book instead of, every other book that Bendis is writing. Yeah. So.
Yeah. It's because right away you have this page with all these panels of all the different teenagers talking about her, and they've all got wild stories, like, saying different things about her. And right away it's like, no, this is a tone that I associate with Naomi. And I feel like we're returning home to a character to sort of catch up in what she's going through. And the sense of humor that comes from this type of introduction with all these characters is personality. There's a lot of personality in this book. And I think that's maybe one of the reasons why it kind of clashed when it felt like Justice League was focusing more on Naomi than anything else. Is it's like when you just throw in the Justice League, she doesn't feel that special because she's just another superpowered person. Here, though, having all these like townsfolk react to the fact that one of their locals has superpowers now, she feels like a big deal. She feels special. It feels like we're really playing to the strengths of what season 1 did, and so I'm feeling optimistic about this right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Also, I wonder how much of that is David F. Walker. Too.
That's true. We can't discount the fact that there's a co-writer on this.
There's a co-writer, and maybe Bendis is at just this point in his career that he has so many ideas going on that he maybe needs a co-writer to help, organize them, because we still know like Bendis can still write snappy exchanges and whatnot. It's just kind of these bigger ideas needing to be smoothed out or toned down. So yeah, maybe Walker has some influence.
And a lot of this is very Ultimate Spider-Man, which is one of the best things that Bendis has ever done.
Right.
It's just the character getting powers and learning who they are and discovering themselves. Like at least the early Ultimate Spider-Man, obviously it went on a long time, so it wasn't always that, but no, that was very much what it was at the start. He
also did that with Miles too, right? Like,
yeah, not Miles too.
Like, that seems to be his that's his niche, right? Like John's kind of plays with continuity. I feel like Bendis does this really good job of young heroes coming into their own. Like he's that coming of age superhero guy.
All right, what are you giving Naomi?
I'm gonna give Naomi an 8.
Okay. I'm going to agree with the 8. It was a solid start to season 2. And I'm happy to say that because I was a little bit worried before I started it.